It is Tuesday, the first day of March 2022. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on the 6:30 p.m. edition of News on My Media Prime Television. I am Fon Quinter, beaming live from Douala, the nation's economic capital. The news starts now. President of the Republic, Paul Biya, has appointed Rigobert Song as head coach of the Indomitable Lions alongside other members of the men's national football team. His appointment is contained in a release signed by Sports and Physical Education Minister Professor BellaKeng Foundation yesterday, February 28, 2022. Audrey Zadza with details.
A few hours after his nomination as the new Indomitable Lions head coach, Rigobert Song Bahanang was seen dancing and displaying his joy in a video posted on social media. The former Cameroonian captain was appointed on Monday, February 28, 2022. An information revealed in a communique signed by Sports and Physical Education Minister Professor BellaKeng, highly instructed by the head of state, President Paul Biya. In February 2016, the new coach of the men's national team was appointed as manager of the Cameroon Intermediate Lions team. Following his hospitalization for a brain surgery and subsequent recovery, Song resumed coaching duties in 2017 ahead of the qualification stage of the 2018 African Nations Championship. In October 2018, Song was given the management of the Cameroon Under-23 national football team for the 2019 Africa Under-23 Cup of Nations Championship, where Cameroon's players suffered first-round elimination in qualifying for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Rigobert Song thus replaces Antonio Conceição and will be assisted by former Kenya and Congo coach Sébastien Migné. Raymond Kalakongo, with whom he played in central defense in the early 2000s, becomes the team manager, replacing Solomon Olembe. 46-year-old Kalakongo was the manager of the Under-23 national team, where he worked hand in gloves with Song. Augustin Simo and Suleimanu Amidou, two other former Indomitable Lions, have the titles of assistant goalkeeper coach and coach of the team. Suleimanu, 48 years, played for Cameroon between 2000 and 2010, making 25 appearances and winning one AFCON in 2000, and was a finalist in AFCON 2008 in Ghana. While the new assistant goalkeeper coach, 44 years Augustin Simo, Cameroonian former professional footballer, played as midfielder in the Cameroon national team and for several clubs in Europe. He was member of the Cameroon national team, which participated in the 1998 FIFA World Cup. He equally played at the 1995 FIFA World Youth Championship in Qatar. Through the Minister of Sports, the head of state has invited the Cameroon Football Federation, led by Samuel Eto'o, to take necessary steps for a smooth and rapid implementation of his decisions in order to enable the Indomitable Lions to face future important sporting events in the best possible conditions. Song and his staff's first mission will hence be to qualify for the upcoming doubleheader against Algeria in March for the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup playoffs.
Yaoundé city dwellers have been expressing feelings of satisfaction following the appointment of a Cameroonian as head coach of the Indomitable Lions in the person of Rigobert Song. Khaled Lumsenta, regional correspondent, caught up with some city dwellers who expressed optimism. Her report.
Le nouveau sélectionneur! Le sélectionneur, c'est de ça qu'il s'agit! Mais oui! As the Cameroonian Football Federation announced the appointment of former Cameroon captain Rigobert Song as the new coach of the men's senior national team, most inhabitants of the Central region screamed in the later hours of the night as the news spread. It is worth noting Song replaces Antonio Conceição as the coach of the Indomitable Lions after the Portuguese coach took the Cameroonians to a third-place finish at the recently concluded 2021 African Cup of Nations. The news of Song's appointment spread as wide as fast as it could, though it is known that bad news fly faster than good news. The case of Rigobert's appointment was contrary. Speaking to some Yaoundé city dwellers, satisfaction is the order of the day, though a lot is expected of him for a positive change in the football climate in the country.
My impression about the new coach for the Indomitable Lions. Only wish is that at least let me perform more than others in the studio.
She cited the case of another African country in football, a good example to emulate.
Of us who've been longing that at least there should be a day that a Cameroonian should coach our national team. Look at what happened with Senegal and they won the cup. We can also give a try for our own former football players.
Going by this city dweller in Yaoundé, the appointment of Song is a breakthrough in Cameroon's football.
They have placed the square peg in the square hole. And I think with his coming and other teammates and other colleagues that they're supposed to work together, the Kafoto president has really deemed it necessary that coming with this team, they are going to lift the Indomitable Lions higher and higher. And they were expecting them since Rigobert Song has grown in Cameroon and he has been visiting the players each time they are having encounters. He must know the tactics and know where to bring up things and polish, and he will reap positive fruit.
There is therefore an ongoing optimistic atmosphere that the Indomitable Lions' new coach is highly backed up. Thus, to whom much is given, much is expected.
In the West region, a mother has been severely beaten by an angry crowd for pouring hot water on her son, who is currently receiving treatment in a medical facility in Bafoussam. The 39-year-old lady said she carried out the act because the child refused to wash his uniform as instructed. Nora Kakebi completes the story.
This is little Simo Melen Kwakep lying in pains on a hospital bed, his skin peeled off his body as a result of his mother's malicious actions. 9-year-old Simo was burnt with hot water by his biological mother, who claimed that the little boy was heady and refused to wash his school uniforms after he returned from school. This sad incident occurred yesterday, February 28, 2022 in the Jelengtrua neighborhood in Bafoussam in the West region of Cameroon. The local population, unable to contain the despicable action of Simo's mother, descended on the 39-year-old woman, gave her the beating of her life and rendered her almost naked. It was not long before the forces of law and order arrived at the scene and saved the woman from the wrath of the angry population. According to Simo's father, her despicable behavior towards their son is habitual. She always tortures the little boy.
J'étais à un deuil à Bameka. Je viens, la dame n'était pas là.
I was attending a funeral at Bameka, and on coming home, a passerby told me my wife has poured hot water on my child's body, and security forces have taken her away after an angry crowd descended on her. I followed them and saw the state of my child, which was terrible. It's not the first time she's doing this, and she had been warned by the quarterhead never to do so again.
Le chef de quartier a dit qu'elle ne tape plus à jamais sur cet enfant.
In recent times, child abuse has really been recurrent in several parts of the country, with a case still in the West region where a father beat up his daughter to death for stealing money. Another incident in the North region where the Lamido got his nephew tortured to death as well. Not forgetting a recent case where a teacher in Douala tortured a pupil to near death, claiming he was acting on the instructions of the child's mother. Currently, Simo's mother is under police custody while the little boy is already receiving medical attention in a hospital in Bafoussam.
The nation was taken aback after footages of a primary school teacher who tortured a pupil mercilessly in a classroom in Douala went viral. Following the incident and the apology he tendered, a priest and a pedagogue in Yaoundé have reacted. Kolelum once again.
By Oxford's Learner's Dictionary, teacher is a person whose job is teaching, especially in a school. And teaching is the art and science of facilitating students' construction of meaning and understanding. Unfortunately, in contemporary society, most teachers have lost track of the core of this noble profession, teaching. They either unteach pupils and students or perpetrate acts of violence in all its forms. A glaring example is the case in the Littoral region where a teacher beats up his student with a gas pipe and machete and smashing his finger with a hammer and ended up feeding him with large quantity of pepper. The $1 million question is, what is the cause of such an act of violence instilled on a kid in the school milieu? Are the students or pupils accountable for this phenomenon, or teachers on the other hand, or parents themselves? How should a good child behave?
A good child is supposed to respect. So
Going by a pedagogue and parents as well, acts of violence in schools perpetrated on children should not be pardoned.
The teacher knew that it was not acceptable and he did it. This particular one borders around criminality. We saw another video where a teacher was hitting the child with hammer on the hand. They had undressed the child and they were beating the child with a cutlass. All of this is not acceptable. It's devilish. Those teachers are not normal because I have been a teacher for more than 30 years. I have never heard that kind of punishment. Many ways of punishing a child, not to the point of beating, to that extent, not to the point of giving that birth. The law should take that seriously and give the teacher the punishment they merit, so that others who are doing it or have intention of doing it will learn.
In a confession video that went viral on social media, the teacher who committed the act confessed of having been under a spiritual influence.
The attack of the teacher against child is blaming the spiritual attacks. We are believers. We don't deny that there are spiritual attacks. We have to be very careful. Sometimes we use those expressions to escape from our responsibility. It is clear that we shouldn't use violence in school. If he's under spiritual attack, he has to stop teaching and make sure that it's followed up by a priest or a man of God. So don't use the name of God to justify violence.
Everyone, before indulging in any action, should first of all examine their consciences and do just the right.
Now, heavy downpour on the 9th of February 27 has erased a long, dusty and harsh climate in the nation's capital city, Yaoundé. The heavy rains took Yaoundé city dwellers by surprise, with many expressing their excitement. Colette Loom with details.
The nation's capital has been blessed with a heavy downpour after a long period of intense sunshine coupled with dust. Sunday, February 27, in the later hours of the day, the sky seemed gloomy. Who would have thought that something as colorless as water could make clouds so dark? Then it started to drizzle. It was noticed most people tried to rub condensed water droplets to get a clear view of the busy streets in Yaoundé. Soon it turned into an endless music of droplets hitting window panes, rooftops, and tree leaves, just like an old radio coming to life, and the rain poured and poured. For young couples, the downpour in Yaoundé was like an occasion to express their love. For elderly, a bittersweet memory, and for young ones, just a wet playground. Obili, Simbok, Kekasi, Lonka, Kwabang, Damas, Nsam, Colombia, Obobogo, Volye, Jouvence, Dakar Amba, and a whole lot of other quarters in the capital city were watered with the rainfall, erasing the dusty memories. Rain is like God's own poetry. Inhale the fresh smell as each drop of this heavy rainfall watering the dust was a single letter in the song of life. As March takes a turn, Yaoundé inhabitants are thus working towards purchasing umbrellas, pullovers, and maybe socks, since the climate is usually cold during the rainy season and rainfall heavily for long hours in this part of the country.
Now, there's been an increase in the consumption rate and use of palm oil in the central region, and findings explain that the increase stems from the fact that palm oil is used in the preparation of several traditional meals in the region. Colette Loom once again.
Palm oil is a liquid processed and extracted from palm oil fruits. It is a vegetable because it is not highly processed, unlike refined seed. After the processing stage, the palm oil liquid sold in the market appears different, one brighter than the other, affecting the prices.
The coffee oil or the yellow oil, I used to sell it dearer than this. I used to sell it one dearer than this. The prices are not good. This one, but the recent price Meanwhile, this one is 650 or 600. This one,
avec toutes les 26 lettres de l'alphabet. Les pinceaux pour make-up sont disponibles. La poudre, les rouges à lèvres, fond de teint, ongles, coton, dissolvant, ligne, peigne, taille-angle, les chichis sont là, les frondes, les peites, les gardes de toilette, les parfums, les déodorants, les teintures, les crayons sont disponibles. Bandeau pour enfants, mascara, boucle du nez, piercing, lac d'affaires, les poingas.
Though usually different in color after the procession stage, all are very important in preparing some traditional meals. In the center region, the high consumption of meals like the nkok accounts for the increased consumption of palm oil.
Take the head of this one. The remaining, the under of the is it used to be the attraction. The both of them.
Statistics revealed that in 2010, 200,000 tons of palm oil was produced in Cameroon, with the center region topping, though the oil refinery company produced more as usual.
Chaîne, ensemble, boucle avec toutes les 26 lettres de l'alphabet. Les pinceaux pour make-up sont disponibles. La poudre, les rouges à lèvres, cils naturels, fond de teint, ongles, coton, dissolvant, ligne, peigne, taille-angle. Les chichis sont là. Les frondes, les peites, les gardes de toilette, les parfums, les déodorants, les teintures, les crayons sont disponibles. Bandeau pour enfants, mascara, boucle du nez, piercing, lac cafard, monge, les poingas.
As palm oil is highly consumed in this area, there is hope that production will keep increasing in the central region as well.
Still ahead, some internally displaced persons have received their old checks from a non-governmental organization, Alma Cameroon Agro Industries. The donation is in a bid to assist the underprivileged, especially those who have fled their homes as a result of the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Tamfu Sidwan finds in details.
Internally displaced persons in Kumba have received their old checks from Alma Cameroon Agro Industries, an NGO working with the underprivileged and internally displaced persons in the country. The intention, according to the executive director of the non-governmental organization, Dr. Ayukeba Ako, is to assist the underprivileged and internally displaced persons.
They have escaped from the bush, there are some from Ikumbi. There are some even right from the DLM that they have come to resettle in Kumba. So we are trying to see how we can help them to come up with a livelihood. We have carried out workshops, we have identified them, we carry out workshops and train them on intensive small-scale poultry. And after the training, now we are giving out 2,500 day-old chicks to the IDPs, so that from there they will be able to start off, and then when they will follow them up, because we are not only giving them the birds and forgetting about them, we are following them up. We are giving them vaccines free, the drugs are free, the feed is subsidized, and then when it comes to the point of marketing, they are going to market the birds. When they market the birds, then they come again. We give them another set of birds, so that by the time this project is over in 2024, they will have enough finances that they can start all over by themselves without needing the help of the NGO anymore.
Their old chicks were distributed to poultry farmers who also appreciated the organization, stating that the project will be helpful to their families.
Oh, I'm so glad to receive them from the NGO, and I'm going to care for them very well and bring them up properly.
It's going to help me in many ways, because now like this, even the price is low, the feeds are so moderate. The way we buy these cartons in the market is not how the Alma Cameroon they are giving us.
The association has been carrying out similar exercise in different parts of the northwest and southwest regions, where the old chicks and pigs are distributed to the underprivileged and internally displaced persons following the current socio-political impasse in the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. The project ends in 2024.
Memo nightclub Bonamusa de Douala, which played host to the murder of a Cameroonian upcoming artist MC Fresh, has been sued by the Divisional Office of Douala 5 Subdivision. The administrative authority visited the site yesterday following the fight that happened on February 23rd between staff of the nightclub and some clients, leading to the death of the Cameroonian artist. According to the Divisional Officer for Douala 5, the nightclub will remain sealed until further notice as investigations are ongoing. Now, the BellaKeng Foundation has donated didactic materials and scholarships to some students who performed well during last academic year. The ceremony took place in Kumba over the weekend, as Tamfu Sidwan tells us.
The BellaKeng Foundation has distributed didactic materials and awarded prizes to students and pupils who performed well during the last academic year. The ceremony took place in Kumba on Sunday, bringing together students and pupils from across the country.
Good boy.
Good boy. According to the president of the BellaKeng Foundation, Senior Barrister Bezeze Bejejenkeng, the initiative is to keep the legacy of His Royal Highness Chief BellaKeng, who was the first Bangwa educationist who obtained his Standard 6 certificate at the Manfi Higher Primary School in 1931.
Chief BellaKeng has impacted the lives of all and some students in the division. So, giving this award, the scholarship to people from the entire region, and I wish to inform people that this kind of occasion will take place annually.
The BellaKeng Foundation was created to support the less privileged creative individuals, equitably and effective institutions, healthcare delivery and public health safety for local communities. It also advocates for the rights of the child and gender equality, the building of shelters for homeless and accommodation for internally displaced persons, and many others.
Social justice, our students destitute, the homeless, and what have you.
Receiving the items, beneficiaries lauded the initiative and praised the BellaKeng Foundation continues to empower the less privileged in the communities.
I am here to thank them for the gift that they have given me, and I will remain to thank them for the rest of my life.
For everything, because it's not easy to do this. It's hard to see people who are still this generous.
And say thank you in the highest of our voices. So I want to say thank you very much for all you have done for us, especially giving us where to rest.
Only God alone knows that we are still praying that we should continue with these our children.
We have more power for the way they pray out this idea.
The president also promised that the initiative will continue thanks to some goodwill people who want to keep the initiative moving.
And news out of Cameroon, 16 suspects have been arrested by Zimbabwean police in connection with the violence that left 22 people injured and 1 dead at an opposition rally on Sunday. These and more right ahead. We begin our tour on the African continent in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where at least 20 civilians have been killed in an attack in the northeastern region of the country. According to reports, the assailant struck at about 9 p.m. wielding machetes and burning houses, coming months after the Democratic Republic of Congo and Ugandan troops launched a joint operation against the ADF, which killed thousands of civilians in the region. According to Oded Zawadi, the president of a local activist organization, the bloodshed was carried out by suspected Allied Democratic Forces armed groups. Away from the Democratic Republic of Congo, at least 16 suspects have been arrested by Zimbabwean police in connection with the violence that left 22 people injured and 1 dead at an opposition rally on Sunday. The opponents were on their way to the venue where the leader of their party, Nelson Chamisa, the main rival of President Emerson Mnangagwa, was to speak. Clashes forced rival Chamisa to cut short his speech as attackers used machetes, knives, catapults and traditional whips in an outburst of violence. Prior to the protests on Sunday that left 1 person dead and others injured, police on Saturday violently dispersed hundreds of opponents in Gokwari, some 140 kilometers away, claiming they were understaffed to properly lead the rally, described by the European Union ambassador to Zimbabwe as a heinous act, adding that a level playing field must be guaranteed for the election campaigns. Let's conclude with health news where Global Mercy, a 37-tons hospital ship with 6 theaters, eye and dental clinics and a capacity to care for 200 patients, is set for Senegal. The ship, presently in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, where it was built, will leave for sub-Saharan Africa in a few weeks, staffed completely by volunteers. Mercy Ship says its mission is focused on the region because 93% of the population have little or no access to health care, and there average just 2 doctors for every 10,000 people. We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime News on My Media, Prime Television. My name is Fon Quinter. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Kumlena and his correct team. Have a great evening in the company of more programs on the African Eye. Good night.